G'day. This is Charlie, and I'm coming to you today from my locals community with your daily dose of business inspiration. Come on over and join me at askcharlyleetham.locals.com. You can join the community for free. You can become a supporter to actually join in the conversations, get access to supporter-only content, and help me to keep creating content like this, like my podcasts and like my tutorials. Today, it's topic number 149, overcoming procrastination. And in the last couple of episodes, I've spoken a little bit about procrastination and how it can affect you. I thought it would be a good one to talk about today. I've got to say that there are days that I procrastinate. I'll find any other reason to do something other than what I need to do. I don't think I procrastinate a lot, but I do know I procrastinate. I also I lived with someone who procrastinated a heap, and it used to drive me batty. But let's have a chat about it. And again, I'll have a story to help you out understand it a little bit better. So, what is procrastination? It's the art of delaying or postponing tasks that and that act in itself will lead to stress, missed deadlines, lower quality of work, and honestly, it ends up in many cases with work just not getting done. And that work just not getting done then starts to impact on everyone else around you, or even it being done late impacts on everyone else around you because they're all waiting. A lot of people are waiting for you to do something so they can go and do the next thing they need to do. So when you're working as part of a team, if you're a procrastinator or if you're working with a procrastinator, it's really frustrating. Now, understand the root causes of procrastination is also important. Fear of failure, perfectionism, a lack of motivation. They're just three reasons. I am not a psychologist. I'm not someone who understands this to any great degree. I just know the effects of it. And like I said, I lived with someone who was a terrible procrastinator. But fear of failure, perfectionism, and lack of motivation, they're the three big ones. I tend to not do it because of perfectionism. I want everything to be perfect. I want the output to be perfect. I don't have everything I need, so I'm just not going to start yet, or I'm not going to finish because I don't have everything to make it perfect. And motivation is my big one. If I'm not interested in something, it's really hard to do. But fear of failure is also a big one for people, isn't it? Like, yeah, if you don't think you're going to do well at it, why would you even start it? So the impact of procrastination on productivity is significant. As I said, you normally ends up in a cycle of rush and panic. Oh, I've got to get this done. I've had this, I used to say, listen, we've got this thing coming up. We've got 3 or 4 weeks to get it done. Here's all the tasks that need to be done. Can you do? Yep. Okay. Next week, have you started? No, not yet. Had other things. Okay. Well, we're down to 3 weeks. I would get to the day before or 3 days before. I'm like, have you done this job yet? Because it needs to be done. And the night that it was due, like before it was due, there'd be this mass panic rush. And yeah, it ended up sucking me in because I'd have to help out to try and get it done. And I don't like that sort of thing. So, this is very personal for me because it did impact me. And even now, if I start to procrastinate and I'm like, oh my goodness, I've run out of time, I've got to get this done. It's not great. It's not great on the stress levels. It's certainly not great on my output either. I don't think I do as well when I'm in a rush and panic mode. But it does lead to wasted time, decreased efficiency, and often results in longer hours spent on a task, which then affects the overall business performance. And remember what I said also before about it impacts your workmates, it impacts your teammates. If you've got something that's due, sometimes that's due because someone else needs it to do their job, to get on and do what they need to do. And if they can't get it, then you're pushing them into a rush and panic mode as well. So they're the impacts of procrastination on productivity psychologically. And like I said, I'm not a psychologist. I don't really get into this, but there are some documented things about it. Feelings of guilt, anxiety, decreased self-esteem, lack of output is, and the fact that you're always panicking about something is not good on you, and it's going to affect your mental well-being. It's going to affect your productivity. So if you are someone who does tend to procrastination, I would love to get your input as to, why. What do you think is causing it? How do you deal with it? What do you do? Please give me some feedback on this. There are some techniques that you can use to overcome procrastination. Most of this requires practice. It certainly requires persistence and dedication. You've got to be committed to doing it. You've got to follow your steps every time. When you feel the sort of thing to rising that, oh, I don't want to be doing this, push it down and just power on past it. That's what my recommendation would be, but that's my personality type too. The first thing is, of course, as with most things that I talk about lately, it's breaking the task into smaller steps. If you don't know where you're heading, if you don't know how to do something, or if it just looks really overwhelming, just look at what the first thing you need to do is. Do the first thing, then do the second thing, then do the third thing. And before you know it, you're done, you're finished. So break big tasks down into smaller tasks. Don't try and do the big task all at once. Work on each individual smaller task. That's one way that I found works really well, particularly when I'm not sure what I'm doing or it just looks too much to me. I feel overwhelmed quite a lot actually, and I have to step back and go, okay, yep, what do I need to do? Oh, that one thing, I'll go and do that one thing. That also then allows you to celebrate the small things as you go. Yep, I've done that. Big tick in the box, gold star, whatever it is. So you can start to get that personal feedback as well. Time management strategies also work. So time blocking I really like. It helps maintain your focus and your productivity. There's a couple of others that have been recommended as I've gone and looked into it, but managing your time, using your calendars, I find I've got a good one for this one actually. I find putting things into my calendar, this is due here, this is due here, this is due here, and having my reminders set up a couple of days before to say this is coming up, reminder that you've got it coming up, because life can take over, work can take over, other things can hit you and you forget it's coming up, particularly if you've got a lot on. The other thing I do in terms of time management strategies is if something is due, like it's Wednesday today, I'm recording this on a Wednesday. If something is due on Friday or Monday next week, or let's say Tuesday next week, I tell myself it's got to be done by Friday. And that gives me 2 or 3 days to, if something goes wrong, I've got 2 or 3 days leeway to fix it. I've got 2 or 3 days if something pushes in on it and I've got to flip it a little, I've got a couple of extra days that I can work on it. I gave an example over a weekend. It does give me the weekend if I need to deal with it. I don't like working weekends. I really try not to. That comes down to, just making sure that I'm looking after myself as well. But it does give me that extra buffer. So fudging my time, my deadlines, and taking a little bit out of it also helps as well. And eliminating distractions. So maybe your work environment needs to change a little. If you're working from home and you've got the TV or you've got the video playing or you've got the radio going, maybe you just need to turn that all off and shut yourself in a room while you're working on something. I know a lot of the tools have distraction-free mode now. That's not something I use actually, so I would love some feedback on that. That is not something I look at it and I go, I don't need that, I'm cool, I'm good. But I know some people do need it, so I'd love your feedback. Do you find the distraction-free tools that come with some of these applications now work? Like I know WordPress has got a distraction-free mode where you can just hit the button and it brings up takes everything else out of it, so you can just write. Does that work for you using those sorts of tools? What do you think? Some of the tips for setting goals and staying focused, I've spoken about in previous episodes about SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, actionable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Set those 5 things when you're setting a goal, making sure that they're clear and make sure that they're little. They're small goals that you can actually achieve. Don't make them so big that you're going to have trouble getting there. A daily plan always works. I find always works. I don't know how you want to do it. You can use to-do lists on your phone. You can do tick lists on a piece of paper. Some people still find writing them down on a piece of paper. I find leaving little voice notes for myself and saying, hey, set a reminder that I've got to have this done by this time on my phone. Hey, Google, set a reminder for 10 a.m. that you need to send this email to someone. That helps as well. So setting my daily plan. I'll remind you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Oops, Google just spoke to me. Tip to the uninitiated. Hey, so yeah, create a daily plan. And accountability and rewards. Hold yourself accountable through regular check-ins with a mentor or a colleague, and that can help maintain focus. If you don't have someone and you need an accountability partner, have a look at it within your community. We all work online. That's one reason I actually created my locals community, is so that people can find these sorts of like-minded people and say, hey, I need a hand with this. Can someone try to keep me on track, please? It doesn't it should be reciprocal. It doesn't have to be, though, because you might just find that you've got someone who is prepared to act like that for you, because they're going to pay that forward with you and hope that that comes back through another path for them. So find an accountability partner, put your hand up, come and join my locals community and ask for help. And I mentioned it before, but rewarding yourself for completing tasks, and that can reinforce your positive behavior. It can make you feel really good. I wouldn't necessarily recommend rewarding yourself with donuts or chippies or food all the time, or chocolate. You can, but I think, something healthy. But if you've made a goal at the end of the week, or you've got something out at the end of the week, go and get yourself a massage. Go and sit in the hot springs. I've got hot springs near where I live, so I can go up to the hot springs and sit in the hot springs for half an hour, a couple of hours, and just have a break. But find things to reward yourself that are actually good for you is really helpful too. So accountability and rewarding yourself is great. So, I like to give stories. One of the stories that came up was eat that frog, and I don't want to eat a frog. I don't want to kiss the frog. I don't want to eat the frog. But the one that I liked was you eat an elephant one bite at a time. And that was a story that I read when I was a much younger woman. And it's about, you're looking at the elephant and someone says, you've got to eat that elephant. You're like, I can't eat that thing. It's so too big. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You don't try and eat the elephant in one go. You take a bite and you take another bite and you take another bite. You break your tasks down. You break a large task down into lots of small little bites. You have consistent progress. Maybe you don't do it all at once. You certainly wouldn't eat an elephant all at once. Maybe you'd eat a little bit of the trunk and then a little bit more and then a little bit more on another day. But it's consistent progress. And then by the end of it, look at that big goal you've just achieved. You've just eaten an elephant. Okay. No, you wouldn't eat an elephant. But hopefully you get what I mean. So that's a story that I really like, and it is something that I say to people. When I was working with the golf club and helping the golf club out, I'd have people go, oh, I've got all these things that I want. Okay, so let's eat that elephant one bite at a time. And they look at me like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, that's an elephant, right? How are we going to eat it? One bite at a time. What's the first thing we're going to do? And I get them moving, and they go, oh, this is actually really easy because I can do that, and I can do that, and I can do that. So come on, guys. Let me know about procrastination. Do you suffer from it? Have you overcome it? Do you overcome it? Do you still suffer from it? What are the hints and tips you have around it? Tell me about distraction-free tools. Are they useful to you? How do you use them? What have you found works really well for you? And what tools do you use to create daily plans? I would love to know those things from you. As always, please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell so you find out when I put up more content. Please leave some reviews. Reviews help people to understand whether my content is going to be helpful to them. It also helps me tailor my content to give you things that are useful to you, which is important to me. And if this isn't the episode for you today, do you know someone that it would be beneficial to? Maybe share the episode with them and say, hey, listen to this. This could be useful. And as always, I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.